Yes, alright, the lads. Welcome back to Cossyz 90 more. My name is Cossyz, and we are back again with another one. Manchester City yesterday officially signed Jack Grealish. It is no longer a rumor. It is no longer a possibility. It is not near to. It is here. City signed Grealish, 100 million. It's absolutely mad, like I said. But how does Grealish fit in at City? How does Jack Grealish line up at City? Because it's gonna be very interesting to see how Pep Guardiola actually harmonizes all this, quality, all this talent. Yes, of course, it makes them. It makes them the club they want to be. I think they will be fighting for Champions League next season to win it, not just competing but to win it. I think Grealish gives them that extra. That extra push you would need as a Manchester City. And what they have literally done is at their peak, when they're so good, they have added more quality when they are when they're so good. It is Manchester United that used to do this under Sir Alexander Chairman Ferguson. What they used to do is when they were so good, they could add quality. They would add better players just to maintain. And I think that's what City are doing. Signing Jack Grealish is a remarkable signing. Is a remarkable transfer. Good business for City. Good business for the player, and as well a very good business for Aston Villa. But for me, my question is, how does Grealish actually line up at Manchester City, and how does he fit in? Because I think roles are gonna change. Roles are really gonna change at Villa. He's been the target man, I should say. All right, I might not say the target man because they do have Ole Watkins, and he's their striker, things like that. But at Villa, he's been the man. He's been their Lionel Messi. He's been the king. It was his empire at Aston Villa, and many people believe, including me, that Grealish leaving could actually, cause a stunt. Could actually cause a stopover in their growth as Aston Villa. I don't think the empire will crumble, crumble to the ground. It might not do, it might not happen, but it's gonna create a very big impact. Villa without Grealish is Villa without a soul, right? So at this point in time, City have him, but it's gonna be very different. It's not gonna be the Jack Grealish, the captain. It's no longer Jack Grealish, the man we are looking for. It's different. At City, they have that element of teamwork where everybody, every piece is very important. Actually, as important as the other. We've seen that when Kevin De Bruyne last season was struggling with injuries. We've seen Ike Gundogan stepping in and giving Manchester City exactly a run that actually won them the title. If you ask me, who was the best player last season, I should say I could pick between Ruben Diaz and Ike Gundogan. I think they were absolutely relevant whenever City wanted them. So it's different for Grealish now. The waters are bigger, and he's going to be very insignificant. It's like he's going to be a drop in a sea. It's so different. He was a man standing in a well as Aston Villa. Now he's just a small drop of oil in an ocean, in a sea. What I expect is, one, he's 100 million. Pep has got to find where he's gonna play. That is the first thing. You don't pinch 100 million. Obviously, Pep Guardiola can do that with the pedigree he has and the respect. I don't think management is actually gonna interfere. But it would be shameful if he gets out of Aston Villa, comes to Manchester City, rejects a better offer from Aston Villa to go to win titles and go and shine out there on a bigger stage, and then he sits on the sits on the bench. So I think players like Riyad Mahrez will create space. Players like I don't believe Raheem Sterling will create space, but he needs to be so good, because with Jack Grealish, the competition he brings on the table, you've got to be so good. Absolutely good. Now what we know is he enjoys playing on either flanks, either on the left or on the right. And a couple of people believe he's a number 10. He can play as well as a number 10, but I think he better plays. He plays better as a 7 or 11. In that inverted manner. You could play him anywhere you want, but he's always gonna be at least away from the center, away from the central midfield, away from the central, away from that center, that central point. And what is crazy, what I think crazy thoughts that came to me is maybe Pep wants to use him as a false nine. I thought about it. Pep Guardiola, and we all know who Pep Guardiola is. We know what he is and what he can do. He's not a crazy manager, is he? He's not really a crazy manager, but I won't be shocked if he gives him that false nine. So in my lineup, this is what I've gone for. I've cut the pitch, into two. I don't know what really happened. Let me try to find out right. Right. Yeah, there we go. So this is my lineup. Pep loves playing that 3-4-3. Oh, sorry, 4-3-3. He rarely plays a 3-4-3 these days. He plays that 4-3-3 with John Stones and Ruben Diaz at the heart of the defense. Obviously, they have Cancelo and Kyle Walker. And what you have with City is Walker is not a right back, and Cancelo is not a right back as well. Walker plays as a right wing midfielder, and then Cancelo plays as a left wing midfielder. So they're literally part of the midfield. They're literally doing their work. They're literally doing their business as part of the midfield. Of course, the three in front of them, I expect Rodri, Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne next season. I expect less, to see less of, Fernandinho. Yes, he's added some years to his contract. I don't expect to see him to see much of Fernandinho. It's gonna be Rodri, Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne. So where Grealish gets it rough is he can play in only 3 of these positions at City. I don't think he's going to take away what Gundogan gives to City. I don't think he will replace Kevin De Bruyne, and I don't think he will take away what Rodri gives to City, because Rodri is the defensive man. He's their stumbling block. Gundogan is your what should I say? Box to box, and then Kevin De Bruyne is the brain, heart, and engine of that team. So the 3, however much you might not actually imagine, but these 3 in this area, right? These 3 in this area are absolutely untouchable. Because if you think about it, Grealish is not going to play for U6. He's not going to replace Kevin De Bruyne, and he's never going to take that Rodri that place where Rodri plays. So it looks like he's going to be playing on this line where you have Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Phil Foden. You have players like Raheem Sterling and a couple of others where you have where you'll have Jack Grealish as well. Now there are a couple of options in this one, and I think Pep will think about it absolutely. The first option they can think about as Manchester City is you play Grealish on the left hand side of the pitch, Raheem Sterling on the right, Foden down through the middle, and you bench Riyad Mahrez. Now this one is not an easy one as well, because we know how important Riyad Mahrez was for Manchester City last season, especially in the Champions League. Was very, very brilliant, very brilliant. So but Riyad Mahrez can also play as a false 9, but if they want to play false 9, I think Phil Foden, Grealish would be the 2 players that you think about. They would be the 2 players that would actually take that role. So the other role he could play in, at City is that false 9 role. He's obviously their shot number 10, so he's playing a false 9. And the beautiful thing with Grealish is he can be a very good false 9 because he's very mobile. Very mobile, and he can move. If you play him in this area, you can have him move to the left, move to the right, and it creates chance of space for the likes of Phil Foden and Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne subsequently. That is the beautiful thing with him. Obviously, I don't know how many goals he could score from that area. Like I said, at Villa, he had He had Ole Watkins. They were feeding Ole Watkins, and he really had a brilliant campaign last season. So maybe we could see Grealish play on any of the flanks or as a false nine. Now there is a big question: can he play in that number 10 role? I think at City he doesn't have to really think about that. City don't play with a typical number 10. They actually do not have a typical number 10 in their squad. Foden plays out wide. Sterling and Mahrez as well. Gundogan is an 8. Rodri is a 6. Kevin De Bruyne is a Rom Deuter. So they do not have that. They don't have that typical attacking midfielder. So I don't think Grealish is gonna come in and miraculously changes the setup at City and becomes a number 10, which he actually is not. So in my own thinking, I think City will line up like this. They'll go with Rodri. They'll go with Ike Gundogan. They'll play Kevin De Bruyne as part of their midfield as well. They'll have Phil Foden not on the right. They will have Phil Foden as a false 9. If he doesn't decide to play Jesus Navas, he'll play Phil Foden as a false 9. Then you have Jack Grealish in that area where you think he would be absolutely dangerous, because what Grealish gets from me for playing for Manchester City is absolutely an elevation in in terms of quality of the players that plays around. Look, you might have a Joe McGinn at Aston Villa. You don't compare him to Ike Gundogan. You don't compare him to Rodri. And I think the quality at Villa has been a little bit fairly relevant or fairly good. But just look at this. He's going to be playing with players that are winners. He's going to be playing with players that know what to do. He's going to be touched on by the best manager. How do you think Jack Grealish will line up at Manchester City? Let me know that in the comments below, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.